Welcome back to Where Whites Walk. It's three Leeds debates this week. Number one, what happened at Bournemouth? Why was that a draw? Should that have been more? We've got Chris and Jacob back with us to discuss that. Game management is coming up as a question again. It happened at Fulham. It happened at Bournemouth. Why are we conceding too many late goals? And just why are all the promoted sides doing so well in the Premier League this season? We're also starting the Leeds A to Z as well. We're asking you, of all the players past and present, plus managers as well, who best represents Leeds United's history, who begins with the letter A? Surnames only, please. AI said this fella. I'm sure you might be able to do a little bit better than that, but we'll see. Join us for the end of that one. We got Chris and Jacob, both fresh back from watching Leeds 2, Bournemouth 2. Chris, is that 2 points you dropped?
Yeah, I would say it is. I mean, we sat here last week. I didn't really think we were going to get anything out of the game, and I went 1-1 quite optimistically. But I think bar maybe a 20-minute spell across the match, we completely dominated that game, and I think we deserve to win. And I think it's very unfortunate that we haven't won.
The chances that DCL had, Jacob, to put that to bed. I mean, Julia says here, he's got to be putting away these chances. We don't create enough not to be taking them. Come on, lads. Yeah, and this is his frustrations when he's certainly been with us at Everton. He scores 1 in every 5 or 1 in every 6, depending on whether he's home or away from home. Are you seeing that frustrating side of him again?
Yeah, it's frustrating, and look, he has some great chances, but Petrovic made a few decent saves, but I think he's got to be putting one of those three away. The one in that first minute, he's been clear on goal. He's got basically the whole of that left-hand side to aim at. It's straight at him. It's frustrating, but look, Bournemouth are a good side. They've beaten Spurs away. They've had some good wins at home. They're a good side, and it's another point towards safety, hopefully. But yeah, we should have won that game.
Yeah, let's look at the starting 11 then. First of all, did either of you have any issues when you first saw the lineup?
No, I would say that I've come to expect that lineup at the moment. I don't think Longstaff's done anything to deserve being dropped, and I think Aronson with the injuries, James not being fully fit, I think he's well worth his place on that right wing side after the performance we saw as well. So I was kind of I called that before the game, before the team sheet came out, but yeah, I was very, very. I don't think there's going to be any changes to that for the future.
Yeah, we'll talk about Longstaff in a second. Let's talk about Gudmundsson for a second, though, Jacob. He's been getting all the plaudits from fans who went to that game, and I think rightfully so. Yeah, just how good was Gudmundsson?
Yeah, he was good. He's been solid ever since he signed. I think obviously Firpo in the Championship was brilliant. I think obviously that was his best season for us, definitely. But I think Gudmundsson is always going to be a step up in the Premier League. You need somebody who's good going forward, who's solid defensively, and I think he's proved that, and that's why he's in my fantasy Premier League team.
Yeah, his Twitter handle's great. Yeah, how good was he? Very good. Yeah, excellent. Right then, but also Longstaff needs a shout out here, doesn't he, Chris, as well? 9.6 rating. Someone's just how good has he been? Has he surprised you? How effective he's been in that midfield.
Yeah, I would say I wasn't too impressed in his first few cameo appearances, but I think the last few games, starting from the off with Tanaka injured, he's certainly come into his own, and he looks like a real threat. And obviously, his goal was fantastically taken, and it's also nice to see someone be able to take a corner and pop it on a defender's head as well. So I think he's been fantastic.
Leeds scoring 2 goals, Jacob, as well. With all those issues around, not scoring from a couple of weeks ago. Are they all over now?
It looks like
we found a route.
Yeah. Hopefully, that's obviously 5 in 2 games. Longstaff's goal was brilliant. It's nice to obviously, like Chris said, score from a corner. Hopefully it continues. I think now that front three obviously won't stay the same, but I think Okafor definitely looks bright. Obviously, he scored against Wolves. Same with Calvert-Lewin. I think it's just confidence for a lot of players. I think even at home, I think it can sometimes be a bit overwhelming with that, with the fans and things like that. But I think once Calvert-Lewin, gets a few more under his belt, he'll start, his confidence will massively improve. But it's great we're scoring from open play.
Let's go on to the negatives then, shall we? As there's always some with Leeds fans, as you know. Anshu says, can't go defending a 1-goal lead at home for 25 minutes. Really bad game management by Farke. Another one here, not good enough at all. Just like Fulham, losing our heads in injury time. Tactically clueless with his subs. Long gone season. I don't want to keep coming back to this, Chris, but there is an element of truth, I think, to some of what people are saying here, isn't there? That there must be something tactically wrong if we're losing so many goals late on in games where we're leading or drawing.
I mean, I think it's harsh because, Farke's substitutions had nothing to do with the freak goal at Fulham. Yes, they did play a part in obviously the equaliser for Bournemouth, with Tanaka sort of having an absolute howler when he came on. I don't think it was the right sub, because I don't know why Tanaka's coming on as a right wing, especially when you've got Dan James on the bench, unless Dan James isn't fit enough to be on the bench, in which case probably shouldn't be on the bench. That did baffle me, but I think Tanaka just looked sloppy. He looked off it. He gave away the free kick needlessly. He didn't track his man for the goal. So I do question Farke's subs, but again, it's one of those where if a player comes on and he doesn't make a sloppy error, we see out another game and people aren't complaining. So I think it's harsh, because I think anyone looks for an excuse. People look for an excuse to get at Farke, I think.
Yeah, do you think there is that going on, Jacob, that people aren't impressed? They think they could better. Once you hear now there's better managers than him that will keep you up.
Yeah, I think he's always been like that with his subs, Farke. I think sometimes they can be a bit baffling, but we saw it last year. I know people questioned when he brought on Pascal striker Joe Rothwell against Sunderland, and then look what happened. They both won us the game. So I think, like Chris said, it is a bit harsh to sort of put all the blame on Farke and the subs, because on a different day they could have seen that game out, or even gone on and scored a third. But let's see how the rest of the season pans out with his subs and stuff. But it was just unfortunate.
You won't have escaped your notice to see Sunderland, in third, I think, sitting there Saturday night. Burnley lost quite heavily, of course, but they've also been picking up points. They've had a terrible fixture list, and you guys are doing well as well. I mean, so all three of you have coping quite well with the Premier League. What's the reason for that, Chris? Is it because the Premier League is weaker, or is the Championship gap growing smaller?
Yeah, I can't really put my finger on it. I mean, we've obviously seen some Premier League teams like Villa and Forest really fall off this year and not really perform, which obviously you'd expect them to be higher up the table, which would naturally push us down. I think Sunderland have just sort of blown me away with how good they've been. But again, just like going back to their game at the weekend, they excellently held out a 1-goal lead, and they brought a centre back on. So I suppose touching back on Farke's subs, I mean, we've got Bijol sat on the bench, who can come on, who's 6 foot something. He's a giant. He can play an extra role in defending those set pieces, and he sat on the bench while we do bring on a centre mid on the wing. So I mean, I think Sunderland show us excellently that how to defend the lead and how to go about it. But I do think it's a case of the Prem just isn't as strong this year. But I think now, though, I think some teams will kick on. I don't think West Ham will be down there now. They've got Nuno, so we'll see.
It's Spurs next then, Jacob. Is that one that you'd mark for? Would you take a point against them now, or is that one you can actually get a team you can get at?
Absolutely, I think being at home is a massive bonus for us. Obviously, they were rubbish yesterday, but then again, in some games they have looked decent. They've got the threat in attack to punish us. But like I touched on earlier, I think being at home is massive for us. Obviously, we're unbeaten there all season. So yeah, definitely a point against a decent Spurs side. But I mean, there's no reason why we can't go for all three. I think we've seen this season with like Sunderland being as high as they are. and the way that we're playing at the moment, I don't see why not.
I want to get your view on this back in the Championship. I know it's a mute question, but while you've been away, the Championship EFL have met this week to potentially expand the playoffs to 8, making it easier to access the Premier League. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, given obviously you finished top last year. How would you feel if you were joined by the second place team and the 8th best team in the league? I mean, Jacob, is that something that's good for football or needed?
I mean, I guess in a way it would make it more entertaining, you think, but then again, I'm not one for change. I don't think it should be changed. I think the playoffs in the Championship, League One, League Two, as entertaining as they're going to be, I don't see why we should change it. I can get a few viewpoints on maybe why, if 6, 7, and 8 are really close together or whatever, but I just think there's no point in changing it.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, you'd be pretty annoyed if you were the 3rd place team and lost out to the 8th place team, wouldn't you, in Wembley?
Yeah, I mean, I'm similar to Jacobs. I think for an entertainment factor, it'd be quite appealing. But again, I think if you go up 1st or 2nd and you're joined by 8th place, you're laughing because it's a team that's going to be below you in the Prem. But I think if they were to have it the way that they have the National League playoffs, so it's like a 5th v 8th and 6th v 7th in a one-game playoff, I think it still gives 3rd and 4th place the advantage to get there. And I think sometimes things need to be experimented with. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing it just for an entertainment factor, because I think it'd be quite funny to see an 8th place team, and especially if it was the likes of Sheffield United that were losing out to 8th place. I think that.
Okay. All right, Brill. Right, join us next week then as we we'll look back at the Tottenham game. We mentioned just to finish off with. Then we're having a bit of fun on this particular channel. We're starting the A to Z, of Leeds United, looking ahead across or looking back at all the players that have made. Leeds United, this famous old club, so successful. We asked AI this as well. It came back with a few suggestions. I went with the most obscure one. Alioski. Don't think many people have had him on their lips at all. Can you beat that, please, Chris?
Captain Ethan Ampadu.
Okay.
I think Jacob probably agree with me there.
Yeah.
He defines what Leeds is, and he's absolutely fantastic. So I don't think, thinking back on our history, there'd be anyone better. Maybe a case for Luke Ayling.
Okay, Jacob.
Yeah, I was literally going to say the same as Chris, Ampadu, but I like how Chris touched upon Luke Ayling there. He's doing well for Middlesbrough now, and he's just a cult hero. I'll go with him. But I do like how AI picked out Alioski because, again, one of Bielsa's team. He was absolutely mental. I'm sure you've seen some of the clips. Absolutely mental, and he scored a fair few goals. So
I think AI is just still living in 2019. I think. Right, and let us know in the comments. Come on, some of you older fans there who's watching, you're probably typing away now, going, "Oh, what about this?" Player manager that begins with A. Next week we're doing the letter B. I wonder just what or who we might end up with that for the history of Leeds United. Join us for that unpredictable chat. We'll see you then. Have a great week, everyone. Let's fingers good luck against Spurs. See you then.